We've been motorhoming and campervanning for over 20 years, and the freedom it gives us to stay where and when we like is still a big advantage to us. We can visit locations off the beaten track without the limitations of a more organised holiday. We still prefer to stay on campsites, and here at Tyndrum we've booked our first 2 nights. I've always wanted to do the train journey across Rannoch to Fort William. We did part of the journey last year, but got off at Karua. Now it's become a great tourist destination, the highest and most remote station in the UK. After about an hour, the massive bulk of the Ben Nevis range looms up above Fort William. A light lunch, then a pleasant walk along Loch Linnhe. The walk is always dominated by the mighty Ben Nevis. One of the most spectacular scenic areas in Scotland is around Rannoch and Glencoe. Here, the famous King's House Hotel has been rebuilt. It's in a spectacular setting directly across from Buccleuch, the mountain that dominates Rannoch. Glencoe is just as spectacular as ever and is becoming under pressure from mass tourism, where coaches drop off their passengers for that special photo or selfie before moving on to their next destination. We've moved on to the Five Sisters of Kintail at the top of Glen Shiel. Well, we just came here to be quiet. This motorhome in front is belting its bloody music out. We used to come here years ago and just sit and have our dinner, and today things have changed and it's full of campervans and they've got pop music on. Things have changed and it isn't really our scene. But things haven't changed a bit at the Caravan and Motorhome Club site at Movick near Invershiel, except one special celebrity. Simon the Warden has got a new companion who wanders around the site and is a firm favourite with the campers.
Apprehensive, I think, because we put some bread in it. Yeah. So this is Tweety Pie, our guinea fowl, flew in August last year. Came down from the glen. I think he was getting a bit henpecked because he got 2 females and a male, and he left the roost and came down here and he's been with us ever since.
It's too warm for walking today, so we'll just pick a few blackberries and stew them to have them with our breakfast cereal tomorrow. Tonight the mobile fish and chip van has come. It's travelled down from Plockton, around 12 miles up the road from here, and the fish and chips are delicious. Moving on again, we're going to explore the wild areas surrounding Loch Torridon. Here at the end of a steep remote mountain road is the hamlet of Diabeg. Campervanning makes it easy to get into conversation with like-minded people.
Hi, my name's Rachel and I've just got into cold water swimming. And I must admit it's a real exhilarating feeling and I love it, absolutely love it. Trying to persuade my husband, but as yet he's not got in.
We're still in the Torridon area below Ben Haig, and deer are attracted to these car parks because of the presence of people picnicking. Don't worry, he recovered after drinking from a nearby stream. Arriving at Kinloch U, the midges are out, so we closed the doors and windows and settled down for an early night. There's more breeze this morning and it's cleared the midges. We've time to walk along the shoreline of the beautiful Loch Marie before arriving at Gaylock camping site. It's a beautiful site set in sandhills and surrounded by views of the mountains.
Beautifully warm, not cold.
This is our 6th night and we're at Gaylock on the west coast of Scotland looking across to the Isle of Skye. It's another perfect day and it's going to be another beautiful sunset, so let's just hope we have some more. Cheers. But the Scottish weather is very fickle and it's changed again back to normal. We've moved on again and we've arrived at Ullapool. We've tried for a late booking for the Outer Hebrides, but all the ferries are booked for the next 2 days. So a change of plan. We're just having one night here before moving on to Durness on the north coast of Scotland. This campsite is set in a wonderful location on the cliffs, overlooking some award-winning beaches. We visited Cape Wrath years ago, so we take a chance and turn up at the ferry and manage to book the trip.
It's 11 miles to the lighthouse and it's going to take 1 hour to drive it.
I can honestly say that this is the bumpiest ride we've ever experienced, and it's certainly on my back. Cape Wrath is a wild and remote stretch of coastline, but if I sound a bit underwhelmed, I'm still recovering from the bumpy ride. We stood at Cape Wrath, the most northwesterly point on the Scottish mainland. This cruise liner is en route to the Orkney and Shetland Islands. After leaving Durness this morning, the coast that we remember has changed from wild and unspoilt and has become more commercialised. I suppose it's moving on with the time. The isolated Ben Hope, the most northerly Munro in Scotland, is located behind the wild Loch Eriboll. This is the North Coast 500 route and it's been overwhelmed by the constant convoys of motorhomes. The Flow Country, a vast expanse of peat bogs that forms the heart of Caithness and Sutherland. It is the largest area of blanket bog in Europe and will hopefully become a World Heritage Site. Moving on again.
We're here for the night and we're stopping on a farm between Thurso and John O'Groats.
We have a good view of the Old Man of High Sea Stack across in the Orkney Islands. The following morning, I'm stood on Dunnard Head, and this is the most northerly point in the British Isles. Not only is it the most northerly, but today it must be one of the windiest points. John O'Groats, we've made it at last, and it's a fulfilment of a dream for many people who cycled or walked from Land's End. It's around 1,000 miles. We've already visited the northwestern tip on the most northerly tip of Scotland, and now this afternoon we'll complete the trio. These are the famous sea stacks at Duncansby Head on the northeast tip of Scotland, the opposite end to Cape Wrath. After Duncansby Head, we've moved back on the north coast to Dernet Bay for one night, but it's too windy to put the campervan top up. It's unbelievably windy. It's blowing about 40-50 mile an hour. You can nearly lean on the wind. And now for a complete contrast. 2 nights at the Altnahara Caravan and Motorhome Club site on the shores of Loch Neva. It's 20 miles to the nearest shop, but the seafood van calls once a week. On this site there's no washing up area, so all the washing up has to be done in our campervan. On this hillside there's the remains of a large thriving village which was abandoned around 1804 with the forced eviction of the inhabitants in the Highland Clearance Act, when sheep were more important than people. The houses had low stone walls and turf roofs. This is the campsite's water supply. It's a mool and beck and it's very brown and peaty. Now it goes through a filtration system further down, but when we get it out of the tap on site it's still fairly brown. Insect-eating sundew and ling grow all over the bracken covered hillside. Not everybody are walkers, but the access to the loch is easy from any camping pitch. Nowadays, the higher peaks are beyond our ability, but the lower hills still give us great views. Well, we've climbed this small mountain at the back of the site, and I'm going to call it a small mountain because it was fairly tough going. As we look round to the back of me, we've got all the mountains between here and the north coast of Scotland, and it's a lovely afternoon now, so we're suited. We've done our second walk of the day. We're on the move again across the floor country to Brora on the far northeast coast of Scotland. We've hit a spell of wet and windy weather here. It's still beautiful, but not ideal for walking. As you can hear, it's absolutely tippling down, and it really has set in as the wet weather. So I think what we'll do, we'll just wait till it dries out, and tomorrow morning we'll finish our holiday and we'll run for home. Moving south, we stop off at the Dalwhinnie Distillery, the highest in Scotland, for a special bottle for Christmas. The weather has improved as we join the M74 South near Glasgow, and by the time we reach Abington Services in the Southern Uplands it feels like we are home, but we've still another 170 miles to go.